What is going on, guys? My name is Tommy Emu, and after the Superstar Shakeup, there's so many feuds I want to see. We're going to go through my top 10 most feuds I'm looking forward to. Now, there are way too many to name. There's very big possibilities for this brand split, so make sure to let me know in the comment section below. Not the brand split, the Superstar Shakeup, for new feuds to emerge. And I'm going to go my top 10, which may be a little Smackdown heavy, but you'll see why in a second. But let's start with some honorable mentions that I didn't get the chance to touch. The Miz working with pretty much anybody on Raw once moving over on the prime of his life is going to get somebody who he's going to throw some of the best jabs out, and we're going to see who can actually step up and speak back, who can be like John Cena, because John Cena took it the first couple weeks and then had to give it back. So Miz is an honorable mention. Over on Smackdown, Mojo Rawley and Baron Corbin. I don't have them on my list, but they're two guys I think can work with a lot of people. I would love to see somebody like Mojo Rawley versus Kevin Owens, because you can use an established superstar like Kevin Owens to even beat Mojo to, get Kevin over a little bit more, but also help Mojo finally break that hype, because he does cheat to win a lot for such a good guy face, so that's something to keep in mind. But let's go through our actual list of number 10, and that is Sasha versus Bayley. Finally, Charlotte is gone. The path is clear. We have Sasha versus Bayley, which can finally happen. It was built up all year. They were friends. Sasha always seemed like she was trying to stab her in the back. She was always trying to connive to get into something bigger and better once Bayley became champion. She seemed like she was on her side. They had a fatal four-way match at WrestleMania, and Bayley still came out on top. Sasha's been thanking her, but at what point is the boss going to turn? At what point is Sasha Banks going to go down a different route? And that's one of the reasons this makes my list, is because I am super excited to see what happens when Sasha Banks or Bayley, whoever makes the first turn, goes down. I still think Nia Jax will get involved, and hopefully, I'm really excited about Nia Jax versus Bayley as well. I think they can go down that route and try to get Bayley a little bit more over and allow Nia to reset, and hopefully Sasha Banks comes in to pick up the pieces. Coming in at number 9, Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. Now, they faced back in 2015, but that was mirrored around the time that Sheamus had the Money in the Bank briefcase and would get involved with Cesaro, and overall really wasn't what I wanted it to be. Now, Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton may have actually happened in those matches, but the feuds over on SmackDown allow a unique opportunity. If Kevin Owens is the United States Champion, he was the WWE Universal Champion until he eventually had to drop it to Goldberg, where now Brock Lesnar has it. He went down to the mid-card title. Now, everybody looked at that as a demotion at the time, but right now, who is your number one contender to the United States title? AJ Styles. You had John Cena go to the U.S. title. You had Roman Reigns go to the U.S. title, then Y2J, and then Kevin Owens. So the fact that people still think this is just a mid-card demotion to me is like, just shut up and let it go. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton, if he eventually drops the title, could be huge. Now, there's a very good chance Kevin Owens could lose the title to Chris Jericho, even though he's leaving for the Fozzy Tour, and we could never get it, and KO goes back to Raw. It'll be very interesting to see what WWE decides to do, but if he does win and eventually drops the title to somebody on SmackDown, him going up for a main event feud against Randy Orton would be absolutely fantastic, at least in my opinion. Coming in at number 8. Dean Ambrose versus Braun Strowman. Because right now, Roman Reigns is going up against Braun Strowman. Roman Reigns is the absolute beast. He's the new John Cena, according to everybody. But what if he is not able to win? What if everybody gets put up against the Shield and Braun Strowman just decimates them? By affiliation, by association. You have the Shield all back on Raw now, and I still want to see Braun Strowman versus Seth Roman. I mean, hell, put a 3-on-1 the Shield versus Braun Strowman match for all I care. But if you look at the beating that Dean Ambrose took on the hands of Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman putting out all this against Roman Reigns, even if Roman Reigns picks up the victory, he could turn his frustrations to a former Shield member and leverage the friendship between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, which would keep Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns away from the WWE title, Roman Reigns specifically, but allow Braun Strowman to get even more over, possibly winning his first Intercontinental Championship title. And maybe we see Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar down the line with the titles on the line. I don't know. I don't want to speculate anything, but I think that would be huge. Coming in at number 7 for me, Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. See, Alexa Bliss was champion. What is she? A 2 or 3 time Smackdown Live Women's Champion. She was put into positions with Becky Lynch, which seemed to be the ongoing feud. Naomi would win the title from her, and she would try to rebound. Naomi would have to drop the title, and she would get it back in a moment of booking, and she would eventually lose it. I still think she can play the character like Alicia Fox, where she throws temper tantrums like the Harley Quinn from the Batman universe, and she can use that to eventually challenge up for Bayley's title. I think Alexa Bliss, what a swerve it would be if Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss were working together. I don't want to say that it's ever going to happen, but Alexa Bliss versus Bayley is something I think I have my eyes on, because you have had Charlotte and Sasha so many times last year. Just the possibilities of fresh matches within the WWE, some new matchups after Sasha versus Charlotte happens, because yes, Bayley versus Sasha should have been higher on the list, but I'm a little bit more intrigued with Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. But when it comes to the actual match, I am looking more forward towards Bayley versus Sasha Banks. But Alexa Bliss, she's right there for me. Coming in at number 6, The Miz versus Seth Rollins. I talked about The Miz and his promo skills. Well, Seth Rollins and John Cena have quite the history. It looks like Seth Rollins has kind of been working on a new finisher, which is the knee that he actually broke John Cena's nose with. And you have Mr. Moneymaker, The Miz, who's in Hollywood movies, and if he takes that knee that they've been practicing and messes up Miz's face a little bit, storyline going back to when Miz's face actually got messed up, or the lines that him and Seth Rollins can throw down on each other, that's like a promo wet dream, so to speak. That's something I would be bigly, according to our president, be looking forward to. So The Miz versus Seth Rollins definitely is up there on my list. Now, who should come out on top of that? Because Seth Rollins is a huge fan favorite. The Miz, huge fan favorite. People want to see The Miz get a world title push. Well, what better way to get a world title push than the guy that held the former title? Now, yes, Miz is a former champion, but that's going back all the way to WrestleMania 27. It has been a very long time since he's been a champion or been in line for a shot. So taking down a guy that just slayed Triple H could elevate The Miz even more through heel. You can have him win heelish. You could have him beat him down in ways, and then you could eventually have Seth win against The Miz when he was champion. But Brock Lesnar's champion, so we know Miz is never going to beat Brock Lesnar, at least in my humble opinion. Coming in at number 5, the Hardys versus the Revival. The Revival are probably the best psychological tag team in WWE today. They're one of the tag teams that make me excited about professional wrestling. Even with a tag team match, which you knew the New Day were probably going to lose on Monday Night Raw, they put on a match that surprised, I think, everybody. They had false finishes in a match that didn't matter. It was just kind of put together the week before when they debuted. Kofi was gone when they came out with the blow-up Kofi Kingston. But the Revival still had so many close calls in that match, and that's what tag team wrestling is with the Revival. If you're not familiar with the Rival and you're not familiar with NXT, you have to go back and watch some of these matches and how fluid, how out of the seats you get when you watch a Revival match, and that's what makes them special. So putting them up against nostalgia act like the Hardys, that has me just licking my chops if you actually think about it. I honestly am very, very excited for the possibility of the Hardys versus the Revival. At some point, I do want the Revival to win. The New Day were champion for over a year, and getting beat twice by the Revival is kind of a stepping stone message that the Revival isn't messing around. They're here to stay. Well, the Hardys have got some competition in Cesaro and Sheamus coming up, but eventually they're going to need to face some other people. And hopefully the Revival gets a little bit of a slow build, because I'd like the Revival to elevate the tag team division before they challenge for the titles. But eventually, I want the Revival to challenge the Hardy Boys, and I think it'll be one hell of a match. I can't even imagine the close calls, the 2 counts, the psychology between 2 of the best wrestlers in WWE and 2 of the best legends in WWE that have provided some of the most epic matches in WWE history. Just imagine the Hardy Boys prodding them into a match of the Hardy stature. a ladder match, a TLC match, a tables match, something that they helped elevate, and the Revival could actually lose in that aspect because they'd be stepping out of their realm. They would essentially be stepping outside of their comfort zone, so it is definitely a match I'm looking forward to. And then coming in at number 4 is Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor. Now, I know what you're saying, Tubby. Bray Wyatt is just coming over, and maybe he wins with the title. And I think this is one of the things where if you actually, because I'm super excited about this. This is one of the things, especially with Finn Balor interrupting him, it has me kind of on the edge of the seat, because this could be used for Bray Wyatt to pull something out of Finn Balor. Bray Wyatt has now been separated from the Wyatt family in the draft while he's still focusing on Randy Orton in the House of Horrors match that they're going to have at WWE Payback, but they're still teasing the Finn Balor aspect. Using Bray Wyatt to help Finn Balor, hopefully one day just break him out and you get the club with Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows, where you could have them actually be dominant versus AJ Styles, the guy that's been separated, the champ that runs the camp, the face that runs the place over on Smackdown Live. He could be like, whoa, my buddy's over there having fun. Finn Balor eventually winning back his title and then going to bat with Bray Wyatt would be huge and would put on, I think, one hell of a main event. So that is my number 4. Now, coming in at number 3 would be Nakamura versus Kevin Owens. There's going to be a lot of Nakamura in this top 3. Here's the thing. Everybody has a lot of dream matches they want with Nakamura. But the one that I think really stands out the most when it comes to technical wrestling styles would have to be, I said styles, just wait. Nakamura versus Kevin Owens would put a different kind of spin on it, because Kevin Owens so far in the WWE has been booked very oddly. And when I say oddly, I don't mean bad by any means. He was champion. He was the guy that was up there until Goldberg eventually came back, but he only lost because Chris Jericho forced him into a match. And we have a defined Kevin Owens going over to SmackDown, which if you watch Talking Smack, that's where I think Kevin Owens is going to shine. Kevin Owens stepping out and doing something more than what he was on Raw to finally have a place to shine, especially with his wrestling talent, the more clean cut. The jokes about his beard being drafted over to Monday Night Raw while he was on SmackDown Live. Now, again, there is a possibility that Kevin Owens loses and we never actually get this match. We never actually get more of Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. He followed him over. He could, in fact, like I've speculated, as the prize fighter. When he went after Sami Zayn in NXT, prodded him into a match, he apron powerbombed him, he absolutely destroyed him when people never thought that was possible. If he was to lose to Chris Jericho on purpose, he would avoid Sami Zayn and would be a huge swerve that I think a lot of people wouldn't be expecting. But I fully expect Kevin Owens to stay on SmackDown, and because of that, Nakamura versus Kevin Owens. If there's anybody I think that could take an absolute beating, besides Sami Zayn, it would be Kevin Owens on SmackDown. They've teased Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler versus Nakamura was a dark match last night after SmackDown. But when I think big matches, that is who I think about. Now, coming in at number 2, let's continue it. They started off last year. It ended at Battleground with Sami Zayn finally getting the W, taking down his best friend. They teased best friends all of last year, but it ended up being Y2J versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. And now Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens could potentially do battle until they are in a retirement home. So coming in at number 2 is Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens with the title potentially on the line. I would like this with a title. I don't want them to just fight. This could eventually be that if he drops the title and Kevin Owens wins, Sami Zayn could eventually challenge and win the title. Now, the problem is Nakamura definitely does cloud the title picture, because is Nakamura going to slowly work his way up and decimate the roster? Because Nakamura is a main event talent. Nakamura versus Randy Orton would be an absolutely fantastic match, and it would have been on my list of matches to have. It's kind of an honorable mention, but like I said, there's other matches I personally want to see, and I think Nakamura is slow building it up until maybe WrestleMania or maybe even SummerSlam to finally get a title opportunity to allow some of these other guys to get a chance to shine. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, bringing back the rivalry, doing battle. if they do a ladder match at Smackdown, I think this is where Sami Zayn could win the Money in the Bank briefcase and eventually cash in on his former best friend, and they could go on a couple-month feud. So that's how I would like to see it go down. And coming in at number 1, we're going to steal this from New Japan, baby. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles put on 2 classics. Watching them at Wrestle Kingdom was absolutely insane. 30-plus minutes of wrestling goodness. The WWE Universe deserves to see this match within a WWE ring. Hands down, this is my number 1 match I want to see, even though we've already seen it. Because as a wrestling fan, knowing how many people do not watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, you almost want to show it off. But at the same time, you almost want to keep it secret. Like, no. You should have saw what they did. They're never going to be able to relive up in WWE. A SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view with Styles versus Nakamura. If they could license the footage from New Japan on top of that, damn, dude. The champ that runs the camp, the face that runs the place, but Nakamura followed his ass all the way to SmackDown Live and came for the beating and came for some. Wait, would he come back for Retribution considering he won? I don't know. I don't want to break that part, but Nakamura versus AJ Styles tops my list. So those are my top 10 matches I'm most looking forward to after the Superstar Shakeup. I'd love to know your opinions, your comments, your thoughts on who you think would provide some of the most epic matches after this split. There's a lot of different ways we could have gone with the Usos, American Alpha, New Day, but we wanted to focus on just these. We may end up doing a follow-up video for best storylines and how the storylines could actually go in, but for me personally, right now, after a first look, this is who I want to see go out. So until next time, it's your boy Tubby. Make sure to smack that thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow my second channel, which is going to be posting tons of gameplay, and Ready, Set, Life, which is my life channel. Until next time, it's your boy Tubby. And I gotta say this. Thinking about all these matches has got me so excited, and I'm going to be Ric Flair. Woo! Woo! I'm not very good at doing wooing. Until next time, we will see you all later.